Let's dive into Willow's training so that way we can stay consistent at home. Whenever she is doing behaviors that we want to keep seeing, such as following our commands, we want to make sure we reinforce and reward that behavior with either praise, petting, or treats. Now, whenever she's doing behaviors that we don't want to see, those unwanted behaviors like jumping up on us or not following our commands, we want to make sure we follow through with our training equipment so that way we can decrease those behaviors. So let's go over Willow's training equipment. This is a prong collar. She's going to wear this whenever she is on a leash. How we take this on and off is we're just going to secure one of the links and push through like so. And then to put it back together, we're just going to pinch one of the prongs and put it through the holes of the other prong. And then the leash is going to attach to the D-ring that swivels. And how we use this, say she's in the heel position. Heel just means walk next to me on a nice loose leash. Say she is starting to pull ahead, we're just going to say no to mark that incorrect behavior we don't want to see. Give her a pop of the leash and then reminder heel. So no, pop, heel. So it's a pop and release motion and not a pull and hold motion. Now let's go over her e-collar, how we turn this on and off. Red dot on the collar, red dot on the remote. Touch these together. The green light means it's on, charged, and ready to go. On and off button on the back of the remote. Push and hold until the screen lights up. You're going to see level 12 appear on the screen. This is Willow's level. Then how we use this, say she's in that heel position and she's starting to pull ahead. We're going to say no to mark the incorrect behavior we don't want to say, don't want to see. Black S button, heel, no, button, heel. And then we're going to focus on the black S button. S just stands for stimulation, so it's like an electric muscle stimulator. So with the e-collar, it's going to be the first thing that we put on in the morning and then the last thing that we take off at night. So that way we always have a form of communication with Willow throughout the day. With the prong collar, she may wear the leash on in the house just to start out and get those boundaries set. And then we can fade away from having the leash on in the house. So that is her training equipment. Now let's dive into her commands. We've already kind of gone over the heel. With the heel, about 80 to 90% of the walk should be in the heel position. The other 10 to 20%, we can give her the release word free. Free just means she's not in any set command, and this is whenever she can go explore and wander and do her business. It's her time to enjoy the walk. Now we have sit. Sit means stay is implied until she's given the release word free. This is really good for those door manners so she doesn't think that she can just bolt through doors. So when we approach a door, whether it's inside or outside, we're going to have Willow sit. As we're opening the door, we're going to remind her sit, and then we have two options. We can either heel through the door with Willow or give her the release word free and let her go through the door on her own. With this, if she stays in the sit the whole time, great. If not, we're going to follow through until she gets it right. So that way we can set those same boundaries at home that we have here at the facility. So this way we're not asking her to sit 6 times before she does it, or she gets up halfway through and bolts through the door. So we're going to set those boundaries at the beginning. Then we have down. Down also means stay as implied until she's given the release word free. With down, we don't want to walk 10 feet away from her and then release her from there, because then we're going to reward her for coming to us and not staying in that down stay. So with the down, we can put her in a down and do a little bit of a distraction, and then we're going to go back to her and release her from where she is at, and we're going to reward as low to the ground as possible, so that way she knows the positive zone is going to be low to the ground. So that is down. Now let's move on to place. Place is a boundary stay, ideally on an elevated bed. This is really good for whenever we're having company coming over or we're doing things that we just don't want Willow to get in the way of. So we can put her on place. With this one as well, we're not going to release her from a distance because then she's going to get rewarded for coming to us and not staying on the place stay. So we can put her on place, do our little distraction, have the people come in, and then we can go back to her and release her from where she's at. We're also going to reward this one on the bed so she knows the positive zone is the boundary stay that she is on. With this, I suggest having a leash on whenever you first start practicing this at home, so that way if she decides to get off the bed, we have a way to guide her back to the bed if we need to. Now we have come when called. Whenever we need her to come back to us, likely she's going to be in that distracted state of mind, so we can give her the release word free and let her go do her own thing, get distracted, because that's when we're going to need her to come back to us, is when she's in that distracted state of mind. So when she is distracted, we're going to call her to us. We're going to say it in a loud, firm tone. So we're going to say, come. As she's coming to us, we're going to praise her. So we're going to say, good girl. We're going to get really exciting. So that way it makes her want to come into our space. And then we're going to back up, which kind of invites her into our space rather than just standing still. And then we're going to have her sit, and then we can give her the reward. Whenever you first practice this, I suggest having a 30 to 50 foot leash on her, so that way if she decides to get extra distracted, we have a way to get her back to us if we need to. And then if she doesn't respond to us whenever we ask her to come on the first time, we're going to say no, black S button, come. And then as she's coming to us still, we're going to praise her have her sit and then give her the reward, because even though she didn't listen out there, we're still going to be a positive zone. So whenever she gets to us, we can still reward her. We want to reward this command every single time, because this command is very important. Whenever we want her to come back to us, it's important that she knows that she has to come back to us. So we're going to make it as rewarding as possible for Willow. Now we have leave it. Leave it just means don't grab that. So start out with dog safe foods, drop something on the ground. Say leave it. If she leaves it, great. If not, follow through with the training equipment. When you first practice this, I suggest having a leash on her, so that way we have a way to guide her into a different scenario if we need to. So that is all of Willow's commands and equipment. So we want to make sure we reinforce and reward those behaviors that we want to keep seeing, such as following our commands or those calm behaviors that she does on her own. And then with the behaviors that we don't want to see, like jumping up on us or not following our commands, we're going to follow through with our training equipment so we can decrease those behaviors. So we're going to stay consistent, we're going to have fun, and then this is going to be Willow doing her commands. Willow, come. Good girl. Sit. Yay. Free. You're free. Good see you. Willow, come. Yay, good girl. Sit. Willow, come. Good girl.
Down. Good. Down, Willow. Down. Good. Down. Good. Down, Willow. Good. Down. Down. Good. Down. Good. Down. Down. Free. Good job, Willow.
Let's go over the other features of the remote. So now that we know how to turn it off, let's go over the other features of the remote. So now that we know how to turn it on, let's go over how to turn it off. Same concept, red dots on the collar and the remote, touch them together. The red light means that the collar is off. On and off button on the back, push and hold until the screen goes blank, and that's how we know that the remote is off. Sometimes you have to push it a little longer than expected. Then when it is blank, that's how we know that the remote is off. So I'm going to turn them back on. We're going to go over the other buttons on the remote. So we already know what this black S button does. That is her level on the screen right now. The red S button is a boost feature. So instead of 12, we can jump it to 27. This is going to be for your emergency cases only whenever Willow is doing something dangerous that could cause her harm. So this is a way we can match her adrenaline, because level 12 only reaches about here. When she's doing something dangerous and her adrenaline is up, she is up here. So we have a way to match that. So that way we still can communicate with her whenever she's in that high adrenaline state of mind. So the red S button is going to be for emergency cases only. Now we have on the other side a T button. This is the vibrate feature. We use this to make sure that the collar is on and ready to go. But whenever she gets further into her training in like 6 or so months, we can use the vibrate feature. If you notice that she doesn't really need the stem, but she's doing something that we don't want to see, we can kind of hit the vibrate button and be like, hey, knock it off. We don't want to see that. Then on the back of the remote, we have an M/C button. M stands for momentary and C stands for continuous. At the beginning of her training, we started out a very low level at continuous, so that way we can introduce it in a positive way. And then whenever we get further into the training, we change it over to momentary at a little bit of a higher level. Then we have the on and off button on the back. Also works as a flashlight feature for the remote or for the collar. So if we push it once, it's going to be a flashing light. And then if we push it twice, it's steady flashlight. Push it that third time, it turns the flashlight off. So say level 12 is not working for Willow, you're seeing too much of a reaction, or you're just not seeing anything happen, we can change this level by pushing down the dial until that 1D at the top of the screen starts flashing, and then we can rotate it to whatever number we want. Level 12 seems to be working great for Willow, so I'm just going to put it back to 12. And then to lock it in, we're just going to push and hold until that 1D at the top of the screen stops flashing. So that's how we lock it in, so we can't accidentally change it while it is in our pocket. Both the collar and the remote are rechargeable. Charging port on the remote is right there. And then on the collar is underneath the prongs. It comes with a dual charger, so we can charge them both at the same time. It stays charged for about 2 days if she wears it for about 12 to 14 hour days. So if you charge it every other day, she should have no problem. It comes with longer prongs. If you notice that her prongs aren't making good contact, you can switch these over. I haven't had an issue while she is here, but if you notice, you have longer prongs if you need them. At the bottom of the box is a manual, so if you're having any issues with it, you can go through the manual and figure out what you need. And then the collar and the remote are both waterproof, so if they get wet, not a big deal. If she's going to stay wet for a long period of time, I would rotate the collar so that way it doesn't just irritate one part of the neck too much. And then if you have any problems, it has a 2-year warranty, so you can contact the company and hopefully get everything situated or get a new one if you need it. So that is all of the other features of the remote. So make sure we reinforce and reward those behaviors that we want to keep seeing, and then with the behaviors that we don't want to see, we want to make sure we follow through with the training equipment. So have fun and stay consistent.